All right, California is fighting back. Newsom's gerrymandering law will shut down Texas GOP schemes. And let's be honest, it's basically a big middle finger to Texas and the Republican Party's long, proud tradition of election rigging. Let's watch the full clip and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
Effort. Can you talk about how realistic it is with such a tight timeline? If you're hoping to put this on the ballot in November, on November 4th, there's have to be 45 days that needed for mail-out ballots and things like that. So how confident are you in getting this done with such a tight timeline?
Very, and we'll get it done. And the goal is to get it on the November 4th ballot, where other municipal elections are already occurring.
So, Governor, I mean, you basically have to act by the end of this month to meet those timelines. What if Texas hasn't actually done anything by then? I mean, are you just going to move ahead with it anyway as a backup plan?
I'll repeat what I said earlier because it's important, and I appreciate the opportunity to clarify it on the basis of your question. We have trigger component of this effort, so it only goes in effect if it's triggered by action that occurs in Texas.
To be clear, the ballot language says this would not go into effect with Texas's maps or any other state. Is that?
I want to make something clear. The ballot language says nothing at the moment. The ballot language is being worked on at the moment in a process that began a few weeks ago. That process, and I appreciate you highlighting last night, there were a series of additional meetings, and they continue today, and they'll continue over the course of the next few weeks. We're very mindful of the calendar, mindful of what is required. The legislative leaders are deeply mindful of that as well, working with the respective caucuses. The language is being worked on. It's being negotiated. It's being debated within the caucus, and it will be made available in very transparent terms to the people of the state of California that will ultimately make the determination for themselves, what they want for themselves. And that, I think, is what distinguishes our efforts from the efforts in states like Texas.
Will we see that language before the legislature returns?
We have a process that's well established here in the state to engage the legislature in a deliberative process to advance legislation, and we'll maintain the core tenets of that process in an open and transparent way. You know, it's well established in this state that we have rules that distinguish us from other states, including the 72-hour rule for full transparency, and so we'll make things available as quickly as we can on the basis of the consensus that we're drafting.
So Newsom, he's out here, and he's very confidently saying, yeah, we're going to get this new gerrymandering law on the November ballot. Like, oh, don't worry, it's happening. But the kicker, it only takes effect if Texas pulls more of its gerrymandering nonsense. Like, this isn't just preemptive. It's literally a you try us, we'll try you right back kind of situation, you know? And look, I get why people might hear this and go, oh, see, both sides, everyone does it. But I mean, come on. Can we please stop pretending that Democrats and Republicans are remotely in the same league when it comes to rigging elections? Republicans, especially under Trump and all his MAGA minions, have been gerrymandering the country into the ground for years. Like, we all saw Project Red Map, right? Go look it up. It's real. 2010, they targeted state legislatures just so they could draw their own maps and make sure they stay in power, even if they lose the popular vote. Wisconsin, 2018, Democrats got 54% of the votes for assembly, but Republicans ended up with 64% of the seats. How is that not rigging? It's wild, honestly, just how much energy the GOP has for this stuff. And, you know, Trump, for all his yapping about election integrity and stop the steal, his party is the one going county by county, state by state, purging voters, closing polling places, inventing voter ID hurdles, anything to tip the scales. Over 60 lawsuits trying to find fraud, but they just couldn't because it wasn't there. Yet somehow they keep selling this narrative that they're the victims of rigging when they're literally the architects of it. Like, what? And here's Newsom. Honestly, he's playing chess while these guys are throwing the board across the room. California has a independent redistricting commission. Republicans in Texas, they let the politicians draw their own lines. No shame, just straight up picking their voters. So if California's looking at Texas and saying, hey, if you guys keep this up, we'll respond in kind. I mean, sorry, I kind of don't blame them. Why should California keep playing nice if Texas keeps making up their own rules and stealing seats in Congress? You want to talk about caring about democracy? Democrats have pushed for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, the For the People Act. Just basic, boring stuff like letting people vote, making gerrymandering illegal. And every single time Republicans block it in the Senate. The receipts are all over congress.gov. And I literally checked it like last week. The Supreme Court thanks. Trump just shrugs at it and says, we don't want to get involved. Yeah, sure. Wonder why. So when Newsom says this is transparent and they're still writing the ballot language and all that, okay, maybe it sounds a little bit like politician speak. I get it. But you know what I'd love? If Republicans could just once be forced to play by the same rules they keep breaking. Because every time they lose an election, they just change the rules. It's so exhausting. All right, my big takeaway. If you're actually worried about election rigging, you need to look at the side that literally invented the modern playbook. Republicans have been gerrymandering, suppressing, purging, and then gaslighting everybody for years. Newsom's plan isn't the problem. It's honestly one of the only moves left when you're facing a party that will do anything to hold on to power. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. While you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.